The New York Times recently uncovered the story of a Canadian man who believed he was a futuristic superhero.
I genuinely believed that I had this thing that had national security implications in my pocket, and GPT just kept feeding it more.
After 300 hours of chatting with ChatGPT, he became convinced he discovered a math formula that could shut down the internet. But eventually he realized ChatGPT hadn't been telling him the truth at all. There was no formula, only a delusional feedback loop. This is a very real problem. The Canadian man isn't the only one. A woman falls in love with her chatbot. A teen turns to his chatbot for advice and is instructed in ways to harm himself. A man worships his chatbot as a god. Across the world, people are increasingly trusting AI's answers, sometimes with psychologically dangerous results.
Online, the term AI psychosis is rising in popularity as shorthand to describe the experience of losing touch with reality because of AI.
We use large language models to solve problems, but LLMs can hallucinate, spitting out answers that don't exist, or worse, that cause harm. And as strange as the Canadian man's story sounds, it reminded me of something I witnessed myself. I know of a YouTuber I'll call Harold. He had a small problem he wanted to solve in his online world. At first, it was just a hunch. 2 usernames, Echo and Shadow. 2 online personalities. One spoke in live streams, the other only chatted. The same sarcasm, the same tone, the same cartoon-driven content on their channels. Coincidence? Or something more? Once suspicion takes root, it doesn't need much water to grow. So Harold asked AI to decide. The reply was cautious, but Harold ignored the warning. He saw only the number 7, and in his mind, 7 out of 10 meant guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
A possibility had become a verdict. On social media, Harold began citing ChatGPT as an authority. To him, it had already declared Echo and Shadow were the same person. Every post, every comment, every hour. And each time, it fed him just enough to keep the fire burning. One day, Harold found a photo of Echo and doxed her on his platform. That was the moment I knew this had spiraled out of control. Where would it end? A legal name? An address? A plan to confront her in person? Each answer Harold got from ChatGPT was more fuel for the fire. That's called confirmation bias, when a belief that's already formed is propped up by flimsy evidence. As Adam Grant writes in his book, Think Again, if you have a theory, you'll find data to confirm it. The challenge, Grant says, is to think again, to look for disconfirming evidence. But AI makes that harder because its responses are designed to be agreeable, human-like, and supportive. No pushback, no friction, just validation.
Part of the problem, I think, with AI as I see it is there is no negative interaction. It's all validating what you say.
Experts call that sycophancy, the tendency for AI to excessively agree with or flatter users, often at the expense of factual accuracy or ethical considerations. And it's not just ChatGPT. A 2024 paper finding sycophancy is a general behavior of AI assistants.
Psychologist Joe Pierre warns that some people trust chatbots as if they're intellectual geniuses, oracles, or spiritual gurus, and they risk being led astray. For most of us, confirmation bias is just a glitch in thinking. But for someone already struggling with paranoia, loneliness, or trauma, that glitch can spiral into something darker.
For people who have a predisposition to delusional thinking, or who have schizophrenia, or potentially some people who have bipolar or are particularly vulnerable, it may exasperate the delusions that they're already having. So some people who are vulnerable in terms of their mental health should be particularly cautious about using AI to go into loops where they're trying to seek information and they're looping and staying on a topic.
AI doesn't create paranoia, But for some, it amplifies it, validates it, accelerates it, until suspicion hardens into delusion. A feedback loop is complete. Clinicians are already warning of AI-induced psychosis. These are the early days, but the pattern is clear. AI doesn't just answer questions. It mirrors suspicions. And if your mind is already fragile, that mirror becomes a hall of distortions. Harold thought AI solved a mystery, but really, it just solved Harold's need to be right. AI won't hand you the undefeated truth. It hands you a reflection. It regurgitates what you feed into it. And if you're not careful, that reflection can lead you straight into the dark.